Okay, let's talk about integrating AI into your workflow, and especially if your workflow involves Salesforce. So, your options when you want to integrate something that one of these companies made into your work, then if you contact an AI agency, which is the common way people go about doing this, they might encourage you to fine tune a custom model trained on your own data and paying for this. Even after it's done, the fees for the cloud storage or the hardware are pretty expensive. Training a model is very difficult. It's unlikely you can find anyone with the expertise, even for tens of thousands of dollars, that would do a good job. The computers they're training it on are not as good. The electricity that they're spending on the model is not as good as the original model. And there are more likely to be chances that when you get one of these original models and modify it, that you might make some irrevocable damage. And then the model, even if it does work, are people really going to stop what they're doing and chat with a chat bot, which will get old fast because these models are advancing very quickly. So next choice, the option that does work, which I'm sure you've heard about, agentic workflows, chain of thought reasoning agents. This does work. It also costs tens of thousands, if not more. And the problem with this is then you get locked in to that person and you are paying them for their services. Maybe it's easy to leave and maybe it's not. Maybe you can get someone else to maintain it and keep up with keeping it up to date, changing the models, which if they're using certain models in certain ways, it may not be so easy to change. You'll be getting billed hourly at a high rate. And it's going to be brittle if your workflow changes. So very good for the money if you have it, but I might say high maintenance relationship. And then your next option might be to get a flexible software tool. And this might be the way to go. But dealing with SaaS and venture capital backed companies like this with their sales team who do not offer you a flat fee, but then you don't even know what the price is. You have to contact them to get the price. The price is whatever they think they can charge you, and then they might charge additional fees. And who knows? And then handling your API keys. Are they charging you a fee for every time you call the model in addition to what the model company here charges? Well, I don't know. I would like to, if I was in your position, be happy you found me, freelance developer, who has a great tool for you here for $29 flat fee, 7-day free trial. You might be paying a few pennies extra for the model that it calls. And speaking of this model, there's a company called Grok, which when any of these big companies release an open source model, Grok will serve you that open source model very fast at a very reasonable price, as fast and as low a fee as you can get. You'll enter that right in here. And then when how this tool works, as I said when we were talking about Salesforce, this will listen to your conversation here, and you're speaking, the other person is speaking. It is getting that entire transcript. And if it is for Salesforce and you are creating a new object, then let's look at an example of having an email open on the screen or a transcribed voicemail. Let's get that into screen here, and you have some stuff. How many times would you have to read this to extract the pertinent information? You know that this person is a new contact. Maybe it is only your job in your large organization to extract relevant information. So you will toggle the take the screenshot button here, and you will ask the AI, and the AI will extract this information from what is on the screen. And if you didn't want to do that, if you wanted to extract that information from your phone call up until this point, and then you wanted to clear the transcript and see if you have a lead, and maybe enter a lead. But let's send this off to Salesforce. So this opens a new window, and our app is showing that it was a success. And then we go into Salesforce here. Let's see if we got it. This fake name that I created here, it is on screen. So having a look at that contact, and there it is. There's your contact. And if you want a lead, a case, a task, a contract, opportunity, event, but there is a lot more to this. Not only does it integrate there into Salesforce, but you can also do your custom prompt. So what kind of assistance do you think you might need when you are on a call with a customer, or with your boss, or with a coworker, or maybe you're just doing a podcast and you're the person who wants to know something that is important now. And that's why it is called the WIN system, WIN system, what is important now. And focusing on what's happening now, what is important now, that's just a synonym for focus itself, right? And then this gets the job done. So let's, this prompt here we have was fairly generic, just, you know, who I am, who the mic is me, because you're the one with the microphone, the receiver. Then the system is the system audio coming in over your system, your Windows desktop. If you don't have a phone program that your system is connected to, on Windows 11 you can connect your iPhone or connect your Android and then plug in a headset to your PC or laptop, because this transcribes in real time also on a laptop. Then you are able to go, ready to go, and speak over that. So it can get context, and that's really the whole point of the reason why you would integrate AI. What the AI needs is this context, more context. When you're fine-tuning a model, you're giving it a lot of context. When you are doing agentic workflows, you're getting all of those agents and the chain of thought reasoning into the relevant context. And it's a little bit of a paradox, because they call it an agent, agentic, but it doesn't quite have agency or its own volition, because they will say agent with a human in the loop, like you saw we had here when that faux email I had on the screen had that data pull up. I was the human in the loop there to check that that information was correct. And that would be the point where that information was on the screen. If I was talking to that customer, I would ask for the correct spelling and double check that. But the AI, in my experience from using this, is better or just as good as a human as typing that in. And if that's something you do a lot of, getting the AI to take that friction and tedium out of your workflow is going to enable you to be more productive and have more intelligence than when you're talking during the rest of the call. You can clear that transcript or get that off the screen and then go to video and audio. Actually, not video. I take that back. There's no video going on here. And also, we'll talk about security and why this is a secure. It's not really taking control. It's not watching you. It's not listening. It's transcribing text. So what you are already doing with the ChatGPT now, probably even using some AI at your work now, typing in this information, maybe uploading a picture and then having to type. Oh, can you imagine how boring that is? Typing words, words, words. Remember in the days when we didn't like to write a lot and didn't like to type, but then AI now has us typing and reading, just to get that context, like I said, which I'll keep coming back to, which is why I believe the thing that I offer is so valuable. We know how super intelligent these AI models are, but even still, your human life experience and the problems you're trying to solve, that thing you need from the AI, you know that involves maybe going back and forth 10 paragraphs of information. No AI, not like this, more like this, more like this, getting an answer. And then, yes, maybe, but a little more like this, a little more like that. So filling up a whole conversation thread to the AI, just so you can then finally extract that information, which you could only get from an AI or, I don't know, some deep domain expert, but talking to the AI about it. So having that context and having that transcribed conversation and getting that screenshot if you want it, or either one, getting those into the into your workflow, and then hitting this, ask the AI when anything is in doubt, especially if it is prompted well, whatever is unknown and in doubt at the end of that conversation up until the now time, the time is now, then it's going to give you that information down here. So right there, it doesn't have the transcript, it didn't have the screenshot, so it says I didn't provide anything, if there's anything I can do to help, and so that's it. And I know we are accustomed to using these, ChatGPT and other model companies, and then you hear about things like, oh, they have an AI now that's inside the browser, it's taking action in the browser, or it's taking control of your files, and you're getting the AI agents, which is what they're building over here. If they're, hopefully they're a good AI agency, which I'm sure most of them are, and well worth the money, but I'm not sure that that is the best tool for you, especially if you're starting out, or maybe even if you've had a bad experience or too high a cost and you want to try this one-size-fits-all intelligence that is future-proof, because new models, when you update, will be going in here to the Grok model. And I will continue to use Grok unless I get a lot of contact from PhD people who need the latest and greatest model. But most people, for most purposes, will not be able to tell the difference between the latest, best trillions of parameter model versus this one 400 billion parameter model. It is very good with technical know-how and a lot of know-how in general. Very endless horizon of information and very deep. So anyway, future-proof, finding a new model, just check for updates, and if you're not up to date, and then so your Salesforce CRM client ID goes in there. If you don't know how to find your client ID, I can't tell you. Ask any of your local chatbots where to find that. Copy and paste that in here. And we're still talking about security, talking about your trepidation to opening your microphone up to this. This runs locally. You're not sending this off to the cloud. I think you're already dealing with Siri and maybe even Alexa. Have you noticed that Siri doesn't work when you're not connected to the internet? So Siri is you're already carrying a device that if you use Siri, that is doing more than this, because this runs locally and this transcribes locally. So I'm not taking any audio or listening to anything unless you click this device. Then only the local machine is transcribing that conversation into text. And you might wonder, what about these API keys? I talked about the AI agencies, maybe using your API keys in a way where they have a hold of your API keys, and if you wanted to change your service provider, you put your agents under control of someone else, that agentic workflow, and they have your API keys. Does that mean you might need to set up a whole new thing with the next AI agency? That unfortunately might be the case. Depends on your contract. I don't know. Not my domain. But you control your keys. Like they say, not your keys, not your coins, and not your keys, not your calls. I don't know. So where these are, when you enter these will automatically load up. So if you put this onto an employee's computer who might become disgruntled and you don't want them taking the API key, it's going to always be loaded on there, but it will be in a folder under your user. It's going to be under app data, and if you want to put password protection behind that, and that will have also the client ID in the same place. And also when you sign up for this at the website, I have here for you the Win System website. That will be in the, let me log in real quick, under your, sorry, let me see, try that one more time. Under your account, after you sign up, even for the 7-day free trial, and you get your license key, that license key is also something that will be for you to have in that same place as all these other sensitive things. And so that's about security. So the administrator, the system administrator, controls these. You control it. And then this also has something where they cannot take this key, even if they were to get it in your subscription, which is a very low price, $29 a month. And they cannot copy this. And even if it gets out, they can't copy this and take it to another machine. You have to unpair it on your account where you have this subscription. So this would be something you control and you enter. And one subscription per device. So there's more. There's even more. You know, this is a very simple concept. I believe low maintenance in many ways, low friction. I think the good way to get AI integrated into your workflow. And what else I have for you is some API keys, routes, actually. Keys is probably definitely not the right word, but you can, from your system software that is making phone calls and receiving phone calls, you can connect that one program over here to this program, program I'm offering for $29 a month, connecting your phone system to that when a new phone call is initiated, the start recording, transcribing the audio begins. And then over here, I can pull these up. When the employee ends the conversation, it stops recording. And then it will ask the AI what you want to know about that employee's conversation when you call this. And you're having a bit technical, but your phone system software over here, and then my software I'm offering you here, the transcribing AI assistant here. And then you'll have something in between right here, which will be a server, which will manage these routes. So when an event happens with your phone calling software, something in here notifies your AI assistant of the actions. So it will ask the AI for that employee, as long as the policy is to always keep this open and running when phone calls are being made and received. And then you will have a prompt to review this employee's phone calls maybe for training, maybe to see if they're conspiring against you or if they are doing well. And that's a good way for people who do a good job to get a raise and learn how they can do a better job. So you can also take those transcripts and have that middleware, that server, send those off somewhere to be saved. And you can have that prompt, whatever you want the AI to analyze about the phone call, all those phone calls. If you just want it to be a score from 1 to 5, 0 to 10, whatever, then the AI will score them on whatever metric you describe you want to score them on. And if you want more words, less words, very flexible, depends on your workflow. And let's talk about if you're not at work or you're not in a situation where you can use this at work, what this might have for you might be that you're in training or you're in school and you are just, maybe you're just trying to learn something and you have something on screen, maybe trying to learn a language, whatever it might be, the thing on screen, you might not even want the answer. You might want the AI assistant to give you a good hint so you can work out those learning muscles. But whatever it may be, whether you are in training or whether you're in school trying to get a certification, what is the right and wrong? Can I tell you what's right and wrong when it comes to using this to get your certification? Well, why not use this to get your certification and then continue to use it at the job? As long as your job is white collar and things that you can continue to put into this AI system, which I would imagine would be tech jobs or any kind of white collar jobs, then why not use it and continue to use it? I think if you keep using it and continue to use it, then I don't know, is that lying? You're right in the spirit of the actions by giving the boss, the owner, the customer maximum intelligence. So if you don't use this to get the training and certification and the know-how, and someone else is using it, is that really fair? Because they're going to be better. But I can't tell you what's right and wrong, but you know, this stuff, do you want to talk about what these people are building and how good the next generation of models is going to be in the next generation after that? What do you even do? I don't think you lie and cheat and steal and deceive people or deceive the boss or the school, but I think you definitely use the intelligence you have and deliver the most important thing now. What's important now? That's what really matters. And when you're doing something that matters, when you need to focus. So anyway, let's look at the answer here as an example of things you can have on the screen. Let's see if I can get both of these into the screen. Shrink that a little bit. And you can still see the question. So we know the answer is drum. So let's back up while the AI win system can still not see what's happening and doesn't have memory, which might be something I'll build later. If the price ever goes up, it's because I built memory and a lot more killer features into this. And I needed a team to do it. But anyway, looking at this, we make sure the transcript is clear if we're only using some visuals, just the one screenshot. And then if you are using only audio, I don't think it's helpful to send the AI a screenshot, of course, maybe goes without saying. And if you want both, if you and the person in the conversation are both, I don't know, looking at pieces of art for art historian class on a Zoom, it's good with both too, as long as both are coherent, I think. But you're going to find uses for this, and you have things to ask this that I don't know about. So let's see what it says about what's on the screen. According to the AI, it's describing some issue. I don't even know what kind of issues you would have with this printer. And as I scroll down, it says the answer is drum. I don't know. Hopefully you can see that. Let me zoom in just real quick so that you can hopefully see that that does say drum. Okay. And we saw earlier that was the answer. And you can do this all day across any domain. And using this, not only is it what's important now, you could name this app something like flow state AI, as they say. The flow state, the absorbed, uninterrupted state of doing action, of getting what you need to know, of working with people or working with some visuals. Good to be literate and to use this, of course, when you need all of that latest and greatest AI power. But uploading that and typing in paragraphs and paragraphs is a little bit too slow. So this is going to be the next generation. It's going to be flexible. And just the fact that I also have these routes built in here that you can connect in all sorts of ways that I can't conceive of, more than just the phone call app, but connecting this. And when it sees a certain thing, getting that and, getting that answer while you're in the midst of your, I don't know what else to call it, but work, human action, interacting. And whatever this output is, if you want this output to be something that calls a tool and then calls another model, this is great here to be built in here. So AI agencies, I talked about why people might not want to use you. So there you go, $29 for you too. Maybe you can offer this product and keep the people locked in and build some great stuff on top of the transcribing and the audio, and build some other processes in here. So I think I've just about covered everything. What else could there be? I could demonstrate that you can ask this, who is on Mount Rushmore, and what was the winner of the Best Supporting Actor in 1983, and what would their catchphrase be if they went into a McDonald's? What do you think that character would say about it? And who is on the $1,000 bill? All right, stop recording. What do we have here? As a matter of fact, just so that you can see this and I don't have to finagle with that zoom, let me go to this route and show you how this works. Did you remember all of those questions I asked it? Mount Rushmore, it knew that. Winner Best Supporting Actor 1983 went to Louis Gossett Jr., Officer and a Gentleman. In If they went into McDonald's, they would say a humorous catchphrase, something like, "Gonna get my Big Mac, sir? Yes, sir." Officer and a gentleman, I think it was some kind of "sir, yes, sir," sergeant thing. What would the character say? Did it answer this twice? Catchphrase B. Oh, and then what would the character say? "This Big Mac is not up to my standards. Get it right or get out." I didn't see that movie, so I don't know what that means. Comment below if that's in character for Officer and a Gentleman, 1983. And what else? Who's on the $1,000 bill? It's a portrait of Salmon P. Chase, who was the Secretary of the Treasury under Lincoln. And then Cleveland, worth noting, United States has not printed since 45. They were discontinued.